the new white.
Pink.
Now, that's right. So, a stereotype is when you take a characteristic of one and apply it to a group. Right? So, there's one girl who likes pink, and you say, all girls like pink. That's a stereotype. So it's a common assumption we have about a thing, right, or a group of people. So I'm going to show you some pictures, and I want you to turn and talk about what common assumptions the picture suggests. Okay? So look at that, turn and talk. What are the common assumptions?
Bobby.
Okay, I'm going to show you a new picture, but continue turning and talking. What common assumptions or what stereotypes might be suggested by the picture, or what you see in the picture?
Only boys.
All right, let's come back together. So I heard you saying things like, oh, that's the girls section of Toys R Us. They're the toys that girls like. That's the girl stuff, and then the boys stuff. Boys like guns and Hulk fists and Iron Man masks and Thor's hammer. Now, one of the questions we have to ask is like, with those assumptions about boys and girls, it's like how do they learn that? Like, CJ, were you born with a tendency or the desire to wear Hulk fists?
No.
Is there a reason boys play with trucks while more girls play with dolls?
Maybe
Is it genetic?
maybe like when they were small, they were forced to watch Thomas the
Thomas, right? Thomas.
I think because most kids, parents, liked those things when they were young, so they're doing the same thing to their daughters and sons.
Right, so maybe your parents liked those things and they shared them with you. Okay? Could be. It could be that we're born without a preference for the colors we like, the toys we like, ways we behave, but that we're exposed to things in the world that show us what we should do and what we should like. Okay? So maybe we learn these behaviors through the world around us. Let me show you what I mean. So we're going to watch a commercial now, and I want you to imagine that you're a little girl. Okay, what does the commercial teach you about being a little girl? That's my question. Let's look at it that way. Here it is. So, teach us? Does this reinforce any of the assumptions we have about girls that we saw in Toys R Us?
Yeah.
How do girls act? What do girls do?
Shake his hand.
What?
Shake his hand.
Well, let's see. Girls. Let me make this bigger. Okay. Girls. Girls like little princess pink things. And they like wearing crowns. Okay? And this girl, she's blonde hair, she's white. Okay? Let's move on. So what is she doing? She's staring at herself in the mirror. So maybe all girls do that. That's what girls are supposed to do. So that one, we can say that in the first one, guys, look up here. Hey guys, in the first one, it's kind of reinforcing a stereotype, right? That girls like pink and princessy stuff. This girly stuff. This one, is this the same? Does this reinforce or challenge the stereotype?
Challenge.
Good. Why is it challenge?
Because playing an electronic guitar.
Right, she's playing electric guitar. She's in a rock band. She's got colors in her hair. Right? She looks rebellious. Okay? Different than our blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl who was reinforcing the stereotype. So, girls like princessy and pink stuff. Not all of them, as we see here. If we go on, what else do we have? Oh, look at this.
Wow.
Now this one, she's baking. So all girls must love to bake. Because if I'm a little girl and I'm watching this, I want to be just like her. I want to bake too. Okay? Not because I like baking, but because I think that's what girls do. Because I watch this. And I watch Lala Loopsy on Netflix. Okay? So the point is, in this commercial, in this text, we're going to call it a text. Okay? It is challenging and reinforcing stereotypes or common assumptions about girls. Now we're going to watch another one, and I want you to have the same discussion.
No, this is boys.
Before we start, pay attention to all the details, all right? The things you see, the things you hear. I want us to listen to the lyrics too. turn and talk.
Oh my God.
Does this commercial challenge or reinforce or both? Turn and talk quickly. Good commercial?
Why is there like
No, hey Ben, did you not hear it says we don't need boys, we only need
transgender?
Now, I heard a lot of you saying the same kinds of things. Does this commercial, does it challenge or reinforce? Overall, does it challenge or reinforce a stereotype or common assumption? Challenge, right? What did you hear or see that challenged our common assumptions or stereotypes? You remember something that you saw?
Like there are construction things, and then they had parts where they like got rid of the girlish things.
Right, so they used all the girly toys that they complain about. Right, so when you listen, they said all our toys are pink, boys get everything else. We want a range of toys, is what they're saying. So they use the girl toys to make a machine. Right, and like the machine and building stuff is typically thought of as boy stuff. Right? Like some people think girls don't want to build stuff, they want to brush a doll's hair. Right? And we learn this through those other kinds of commercials and shows and stuff in the world. Right? So overall, this commercial, I think it challenges common assumptions. But the way it ends, what do you think about this last picture?
still pink.
Huh?
Still pink.
It's what?
Still pink.
Right, it's still pink, right? It's still pink, and the girl on there, she's white. She's got this big blonde hair and big eyes. Not what most girls look like. Okay, so even though this toy has this really cool commercial, it doesn't look much different than Lala Lucy when we really look at it. Okay, now this is important because we're exposed to these things our entire lives, and it plays a lot in who we think we are. Right? And if it plays too big of a role in who we think we really are, it steals our own identity and takes away our free will. Right? So you might see this in the workplace, in university. Right? So how many female students are there at MIT? Do you guys know? Is it half?
1/3.
Let's look it up. We'll look it up after the mini lesson. But we could look at that like in an engineering program or a robotics program or an architecture program. These are generally thought of as fields dominated by men. Okay, people think one of the reasons is that as we grow up, we're exposed to things that tell us those are fields, those are jobs for men. Right? So we get these assumptions about groups of people from all different places. Okay? Books and stories are another place that these messages come from. So what I want you to think of today as you read is what the stories I'm reading, do they challenge or reinforce stereotypes and assumptions about certain groups of people? Okay, so if you read Blubber, or you read Absolutely Almost, you're reading Wednesday Wars, or Restart, does that challenge or reinforce stereotypes about athletes in school? Okay, this is one more question we ask ourselves to think about the book and the characters on a deeper level. Okay, so as you read today, you're getting towards the end of a book, I want you to add this dimension to your thinking. Right? So imagine, as we read, the more questions we ask, we're digging deeper. Okay, we're thinking more deeply. What you do today is like taking another scoop, getting a little deeper into the book, asking ourselves, what stereotypes or common assumptions does it challenge or reinforce? Okay, so good luck reading today. You've got about a half hour, and then we'll come back and talk about these. Ethan, let's look that up. Let's see. And we'll report to the class.